Hi everyone. For this lesson, what you guys are going to be doing with your novel before you begin reading is you are going to judge your book by its cover. Now, I know that seems a little bit counterintuitive from maybe some of the advice you've been given throughout your life, which is never judge a book by its cover. But personally, I think it's a very natural process. It's something that we all do. And you may want to not judge a book by its cover, but you're probably doing it anyway without really even thinking about it. So I am going to do an example using Shakespeare's Twelfth Night for you to give you an idea of how you can engage with your novel cover and make some predictions. So to get started, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the text of this novel. Okay, so I'm looking at the text and I'm looking at the title, and the way Shakespeare is written, it's italicized. And to me, that italic writing sort of has this vibe of being sort of romantic and sort of whimsical. If it was big, bold block letters that were like very straight and sort of like severe, I might think, okay, this is a bit more of like a horror genre. But instead, I see this sort of soft, sort of italic, sort of whimsical vibe from this font, and it makes me kind of think that maybe there's a bit of romance happening in this novel. I'm also going to let some of my prior knowledge of Shakespeare and some of his works inform my ideas as well. So having a romantic sort of story about love and things like that would be very, very appropriate here as well. The other thing I'm going to look at is the title of the novel, Twelfth Night. So for me, being someone who really likes Christmas, I think of Twelfth Night and I think, oh, like 12 Days of Christmas, and I think of the song. And so maybe there might be some sort of a Christmas vibe or something that takes place maybe at winter time or something like that. It doesn't mean that that prediction's right. It's just sort of an idea that comes to mind when I engage with the novel based on my own sort of personality and my own experiences. Something else that I look at is I see Twelfth Night and I think, okay, so is the plot of this novel taking place sort of in the evening? Is it sort of, the day's done and it's, dinner time, maybe romantic dinners, behind the scenes sort of action happening, people going out at night and staying out until 3 in the morning. I don't know. It sort of makes me think of like romantic comedies where, after the workday is done and your personal life is sort of starting to unfold. That would always happen sort of in the evening. The other thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at the color of the novel. So it might be hard to see in this video, but it's a very soft pink. It's like a nice blush color, which to me seems very, very feminine, which would further go into the idea that maybe there's some romance happening in this book, and that maybe romance is the genre. So it's a nice soft pink color. Something else that I look at is I it's hard to see maybe for you guys, but I look at the image of the novel and I see a female on the front, and with this like blush pink background in the novel, sort of makes me think, okay, this story is about love and maybe the relationship that this character or person has unfolding in their life. But then my eye gets drawn to the fact that there's a mustache on her face, and it gets me thinking, why a mustache? Why would there be a mustache there? So that sort of has me feeling like, in this story, there's more than meets the eye. There's a little bit more happening beneath the surface. It also makes me wonder if maybe there's a bit of like a silly or humorous side to this story, which would be very fitting for Shakespeare. Sometimes he has comic relief in his stories, and this could be an example of that. Something else that I look at is I notice that this character is sort of standing out on this little black backdrop, and the photo or the image, is very hard maybe to see for you guys, but it's very two-dimensional. So I mean, a two-dimensional photo is obviously a more simple image than something that's three-dimensional, but it seems kind of intentional that it's sort of like more 2D. It makes me feel like, with the mustache and the female character and the way that the image is drawn, that maybe there's sort of a duplicity happening here. There's sort of like maybe two sides that are happening, and it sort of really catches my eye, and I think that that's intentional, and makes me feel like there's sort of more happening underneath the surface, which would be very, very appropriate for a Shakespeare novel because his plots are usually quite thick and have a lot going on. So those are just some of the things that I noticed when I look at this novel, and that's a very, very brief introduction. There's a lot more that you can do, but just sort of let the novel speak to you and pull out different details and analyze and think about what they could mean or what they could be telling you, okay? And then when you're done that and you've made your notes on your don't or judge a book by its cover handout, you can begin writing what the summary of the plot of the novel might be based on your predictions. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm always here to help. And yeah, good luck and have fun judging your book by its cover.